Gaming Bolt presents 15 video game bosses you felt bad for killing. You've encountered video game bosses who were smarmy, calculating jerks that didn't care about the body count. However, there have also been bosses that we felt a tinge of sadness upon their deaths because, as it turns out, they weren't all that bad, or at the very least, they were somewhat sympathetic. Let's take a look at 15 video game bosses that you'd feel bad for killing. The Boss, Metal Gear Solid 3. Yes, she was responsible for creating Cobra Unit, and yes, she wanted to fight Snake after putting him through heaps of pain. Regardless, after everything the boss had done, killing her to make everything right just didn't sit well. Whether it was the lessons she taught Snake or the pain she had suffered, the boss made the ultimate sacrifice, becoming a traitor to her nation in order to save it. The future Big Boss would agree, as evidenced by his snubbing of the United States government following Operation Snake Eater. The Colossi, Shadow of the Colossus. From the instant we encountered the magnificent Colossi in Shadow of the Colossus, we knew there was something special. After the effort spent in felling each one, there was a humble sadness, like we had just destroyed an innocent part of nature. The fact that Wander's killing each of the Colossus is leading to a darker evil being unleashed doesn't help, nor does the fact that the Colossi, for all intents and purposes, weren't harming anyone and simply defended themselves from Wander. Jetstream Sam, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Samuel Rodriguez, aka Jetstream Sam, has had a troubled history, but while he may have defeated Raiden at the beginning of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, he views himself as a noble soul who fights with honor. Later, when dueling with Raiden for one last time, Sam realizes that Raiden carries many of the same ideals and wonders whether he wasn't wrong. The passing of his sword to Blade Wolf, which would eventually be delivered to Raiden in the battle against Armstrong, depending on your choice that is, would cement him as one of the more sympathetic characters in the game. Maiden Estrella, Demon Souls. Maiden Estrella is one of the few humans to have acquired a demon soul in From Software's old-school action RPG. Estrella apparently found out the truth of higher existence and decided to take the demon soul instead to help those abandoned. Fighting her involves battling her guardian Garl Vinland, and after he falls, Estrella will kill herself. After all, you really want the demon soul, right? If you kill Estrella first, Garl will just stand down and be dead the next time you load into the game. Great Grey Wolf Sif, Dark Souls Artorias of the Abyss. Poor Sif. In the Dark Souls DLC Artorias of the Abyss, you need to battle the Great Grey Wolf to obtain Artorias' ring from his grave. Sif stands guard over his former friend, and even when he's limping from the savage beatings you give him, he simply won't relent. To make matters worse, you can become Sif's friend by traveling back in time and saving him. Then it becomes a fight in the present where literally no one wants to kill each other. Letho, The Witcher 2. Despite killing King Demavend, Letho of the Viper School isn't totally a bad guy. He spares Geralt's life since the former had saved him at one point, and hey, Demavend was cruel, hating the elves and favoring authoritarian rule. Letho then awaits Geralt in the epilogue and can be fought after you ask him about his intentions. Though Letho can be killed in the duel, it's still kind of regrettable. Zeke, Infamous 2. If you go the evil karma route in Infamous 2, choosing to wipe out all humans and become the leader of a new world full of conduits, then Cole will have to battle his friends. That includes Zeke, who's been with Cole since the first game and always had his back. Zeke is holding the RFI and pretty much stopping Cole from achieving his goal, leaving no choice but to kill him, because he's trying to kill Cole, of course. It's not without some regret though, especially given how much effort Zeke made to redeem himself. Ludwig, Bloodborne the Old Hunters. It's not clear how Ludwig became the monster that he did, except that his own bloodlust got the better of him. In the beginning, he was a hunter and led his own band along with the Yharnamites in fighting the Scourge. Unfortunately, his methods weren't always viewed favorably, and it wasn't long before he was isolated in the Hunter's Nightmare, losing his mind in the process. Still, when being told that his hunters are still honorable, he expresses relief in knowing that the insults sent his way weren't for nothing. Ganondorf, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Ganondorf may be a diabolical villain who kidnaps children, but his real goal was to gain the winds of Hyrule to his own people in Gerudo Valley, whose only had the winds of death running through their lives. For Ganondorf, absolute power was simply a means to coveting the winds of Hyrule that symbolized life. Upon defeating him, Ganondorf talks about the winds blowing, which seems to indicate that he finally found what he was searching for and could thus die in peace. Big Daddy, BioShock. Created following the rapid descent of Rapture, the Big Daddy is meant to protect the little sisters as they harvest Adam. As such, they're incredibly tough, and even with enough skills and plasmids, taking one down could be an arduous task. However, when the little sister sees her protector dead and tries desperately to wake him before begging for mercy, well, it tugs at you a bit. Saren, Mass Effect. From the very outset of Mass Effect, Saren is made out as a legend. He's the Spectre you want to be, but his sudden betrayal and alignment with Sovereign turned him into a huge threat for mankind. However, in the final battle with Saren, Shepard can actually convince him that it's not too late to stop this. Depending on your Paragon or Renegade level, Saren can kill himself, regaining some manner of his former sanity. Of course, he's then indoctrinated and then must be killed again, thus making this boss fight even more of a downer. Sybil, Transistor. Sybil is a member of the Camerata in Transistor, and her obsession with Red is what ultimately led to her going insane. Because she told the Camerata that Red would be alone that fateful night, Red's lover was killed. The process went crazy, and ironically enough, Sybil caused the events of the game. When meeting Sybil and seeing her go insane from the process, crying out to Red while the song In Circles plays, it's hard not to wonder how things could have been different. Then again, Sybil may have just stayed in the background as Red paid her no heed. It makes you wonder what could have been worse for her. Toriel, Undertale. As the first friendly monster the protagonist meets in Undertale, Toriel takes care of you, baking pie and making puns. Her motherly side emerges in her desire to protect the protagonist from harm, even if that means fighting to prevent them from leaving. Naturally, you spared Toriel in your run, right? You didn't kill her and see her heart break, right? Those that did embarked on a genocidal path of no return. Operator 210, Nier Automata. Operator 210 is the voice in 9S's ear, oftentimes cold and distant in her mannerisms. However, it was revealed that she craved family and even leaves a gift in 9S's room if he successfully shuts down all of the air defenses in the third cycle. However, due to becoming a Type B unit, 210 is infected by the Logic virus and fights 9S, saying she wanted to be part of a family. Ultimately, she wishes for death, and granted, A2 is the one who killed her. However, 9S had to fight her, which was no easy task, and then watch her die. Oy vey. Miluda, Final Fantasy Tactics. Though part of a rebel group and loyal to her brother/superior, Vigraf, Miluda wasn't always bad. As a peasant, she views the protagonist Ramza as an enemy since he's part of a noble house. Even later, when Ramza doesn't view Miluda as an enemy, he's forced to kill her because she's just that loyal to her brother and their cause to fight to the death. The fact that Miluda was a hero of sorts with her brother at some point doesn't help us feel better. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Bolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.